Hello, and welcome to Verbling. Hi there, I'm Teacher Oakley. And for the next hour, we will continue our business English course. Today's topic is future workers. Workers of the future. What will they contend with? What will their attitudes be? Will there even be one? Ooh. Okay, in this business English class, we will do quite a bit of vocabulary work, as there's a lot of related terminology to look at, and also quite a bit of discussion, because there's a lot of opinions to be had, because of course we're talking about the future, so everyone can have an opinion about the future. Yeah, we will talk about interesting possible future work styles, things like working at home, things like shared work, and other such concepts. We're going to start off quite basic today. We're going to look at some kind of basic vocabulary, which is really used to describe the present day workforce, and then we're going to use that vocabulary to talk about the future. That's how we're going to kind of segue into our discussion about the future workplace and the workers in it. So come on in and join me. I've pretty much used all of my introductory material, and I'm ready to do some exercises and some discussion with some students. So come on, hasten. Don't wait any longer. Okay, your future is now. The future of future workers is now. So let's get started. Come on in and join me. Press that button, and we'll start talking again. We're going to jump right into an exercise to look at some important vocabulary, to talk about different types of workers now, and then we will practice our conversation skills largely through opinion, by talking about how we think those conditions will change. Also, we're going to be talking about the attitudes of young people today towards work. Should be interesting. Okay, now we can get started. Great. Hello, Saban. How are you?
Hello, teacher. How are you doing?
Okay. How are you today?
I am fine. I just not just wake up. Just 1 hour ago, I wake up and join my first Verbling class, and then this is my second Verbling class that I have joined today.
Well, terrific. Okay, you woke up. Past tense. That happened an hour ago. So you.
Okay, I woke up.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. Well, glad you joined, so we can get going. All right. We've got another student.
Futapon.
Futapon. Okay.
Futapon. Yeah. Teacher Oakley, how are you doing?
I'm good. Long time no see.
Long time no see you.
Yeah.
I moved back to Thailand.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. That's why.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Right. Okay. Futapon. Okay, Saiban. Anybody else wants to join us? There's plenty of room. Okay. No sooner do I speak than Sasha joins us. Hello, Sasha.
Hi, teacher.
Hello. Okay. Let's get started. We're going to talk about workforce, and mostly we're going to talk about future workforce, but I'm going to start by looking at some terminologies we use to talk about today's workforce. We're going to do a little mix and match exercise with some of these terminologies and their definitions. So here we go. Okay. The idea is very simple. We're going to take turns just matching the word or phrase with the definition. So, for example, number one, shop floor worker refers specifically to a worker in a factory. Keep this in mind. We're learning these so we can talk about future workers. Maybe someday there won't be any shop floor workers. We'll have full automation. Okay, anyway, moving on. Saiban, number two. Can you find definition for blue-collar worker here?
Okay, blue-collar workers. So, okay, it's. I think it is C person. Those work require special knowledge or not?
Not exactly. No.
Okay.
No, there's another better word for that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. It's so hard, teacher, to guess even.
There's so many. All right, let me give you a clue. We usually categorize people into two or sometimes three categories. If we do it by two categories, white-collar workers and blue-collar workers. Sometimes we say no-collar workers to talk about. It's not here, so I'll explain it. No-collar workers are people that do a lot of times things artistic, like a tattoo artist or a yoga instructor, something like that. We might call a no-collar worker. But when we think about more ordinary jobs, not atypical special kind of jobs, we usually talk about blue-collar and white-collar. The difference is fairly basic. Sometimes it's hard to tell if a person is blue-collar or white-collar, but the definition is fairly basic here.
Okay.
Does that help?
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. But I still have a suspicion about the choice. Okay. So I would say maybe. So maybe D, teacher, was not D. The person who coordinate or supportive a different element of job or no, or the people work. I totally don't know, teacher. I'm sorry.
Okay, let's see if we can get some help. Obviously, each answer only has one answer. It'll get easier as we go along. All right. Anybody else in the class have an idea what may be the definition we're looking for blue-collar worker?
Hi,
Hi, Mustafa. How are you? Welcome.
hi teacher. Hello, good to see you today.
Good to see you too. Let me give you another clue. It's a worker. So the definition is going to say worker.
Hi teacher.
Hi. Oh, I thought you were saying hi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Sorry. Okay, Mustafa, thank you. A worker who does physical work rather than office work. Very basic definition of blue-collar worker. Thank you. That is correct. Somebody who does plumbing or carpentry, a builder, an electrician, somebody who works in the sewer. Okay, these are generally blue-collar workers. Okay. All right. That was pretty funny. Okay, you definitely fooled me. All right, Foodafone number 3. Can you find the definition for project manager?
Yeah. How about D? D dot. The person who coordinates and supervises different elements of a job.
Yeah, manager, sure, supervising and coordinating, that's what managers do. So there you go. I agree. I think that's the best definition. Very good. Okay, terrific. Sasha, how about number 4, freelancer?
Freelancer. Okay. G, worker who doesn't work for an employer but finds work for himself, herself, or who has his, her own business.
Yeah. Okay, you can have your own business but sell your work to other people, I guess, like a freelance journalist. You sell your article to a magazine or what have you. Sure, okay, so that fits. Yeah, I think there's more and more freelancers nowadays than there used to be. I don't know. That's just an observation. I don't really know. I can't really support that opinion very strongly. Sasha, what do you think? Do you think there's more people who doing freelance work than before?
During internet era, yes, I guess
Yeah,
in increasing frequency, because people mostly they write articles and many things in internet, actually, many things.
yeah, that's true. There's a lot of freelance jobs associated with the internet and technology. That's probably why I think that.
Not the main job, or it's like this. It's like a second job when you home, for instance, you have free time. Actually, it's a
That's true.
very good.
That's true. Many people do freelance work on the side or as a side job. You might say that's true. Yeah, good point. Okay, Mustafa. All right, you've introduced a relatively new terminology that frankly I forgot about. I have heard of this before, but I don't know. I don't think it's widely accepted. Really, because it's a little bit sexist, saying that it's like a female job. Maids, babysitters, hairdressers, domestic workers. I know it's the reality. Mostly females have this job, but you know how PC Americans are. Well, some Americans. Anyway, Mustafa, what is
Okay.
what about bureaucrats? What is your question? Bureaucrats.
Also, this is category of it. Like we have also bureaucrat. Like
Kind of,
people people who work for the government.
I would call bureaucrats, I would call that a subcategory of white-collar workers, a type of white-collar workers. Mostly you're talking about office people. Okay, but anyway, a little less known collocation here, a knowledge worker. What does that mean? Can you take a guess?
Yeah, just a second. C, person whose work requires specialist knowledge.
Mm-hmm. When I was younger, I'd never heard of this position, but there's kind of a new position, product specialist or product specialist. What's another? There's a couple different names for this position. Anyway, the world becomes ever more specialized, so not surprising.
Experienced worker.
Well, specific knowledge. Somebody who has specific knowledge, or I used to be a SME, S-M-E, it was called, subject matter expert. That was my position. My whole job was that I knew more about the product, which actually was a service, than anybody else, by far. So when there were questions, customer questions or employee questions, they would run to me, or training manual questions. Somebody's writing a training manual, or the trainer himself or herself had a question. They would come to me and ask me about some specific details. So that position was called subject matter expert. I guess that would be a knowledge worker, for example. I don't know. It was a weird job, by the way. Kind of liked it, being the genius about one specific thing, not about everything. Saiban, next one's I think you can handle. Number 6, a self-employed person.
Okay, so it's G, a worker who does not work for any employer but find work for him or herself, or who has his or her own business.
Ah, okay, we kind of mixed this up with freelancer, didn't we? No, I think you're right. H might be better, more accurate for freelancer. They're very similar. A freelancer is often self-employed, so H might be better for freelancer, worker who does particular pieces of work for different organizations rather than working all the time for a single organization. So a freelancer is self-employed, actually. They just work for companies on a contract basis. Sometimes they're contracted to do a piece of work. Sometimes they do the work and then sell it. So I guess that makes them self-employed. So they're very similar in any case. Okay. Let's move on. Foodapone, number 7, a semi-skilled worker.
I'm not sure, teacher, but I think it's J, the worker who has or needs only a small amount of training.
Yeah. And then we also have a common phrase, unskilled worker, which should be pretty obvious.
But they use the semi, that confused me.
Yeah, well, that's kind of new to me, too, Foodapone. Actually, I've definitely heard unskilled worker before many, many times. It's very common.
Okay.
You know, McDonald's hires unskilled workers and then trains them. I suppose once you're trained and you're working there for 6 months, you're now a semi-skilled worker. Maybe.
Thank you.
Sure. Well, thank you. Okay. Sasha, who's a union rep?
And what was a semi-skilled worker, the answer?
It was J, a worker who has only a semi or half training, small amount of training. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. That's probably used internally in companies when they're thinking about giving somebody a raise. Oh, he's an unskilled worker. He's a semi-skilled worker, so he deserves a little bit more money, maybe something like that. I've heard unskilled worker plenty of times, used widely, but hardly ever semi-skilled. Okay, union rep. Anyway, rep here is short for or slang for representative.
And it's E, worker elected by other workers in the factory or business to represent them in discussion with the management.
Yeah. Okay, discussions about what? For example, what might a union rep talk to the management about?
Maybe about salary, raising salary.
Yeah, that's primary. Yeah, that's the first and foremost. Absolutely. Also, other things like safety regulations, hours, things of that nature, benefits, insurance, all of that. Okay, so rep is short for representative. It's used in other collocations related to business, such as a sales rep is a sales representative. So recognize that shortened abbreviated word, rep. Speaking of abbreviated words, temp is the next one. Let me quickly welcome a new student to the class. How should I pronounce your name? Ale? Ale? Hello, welcome to the class. Ale? I don't know if I'm killing the pronunciation of your name or not. Hello, new student, welcome to class. Go ahead and unmute yourself if you can. Hello, okay, you can hear me. All right, you can unmute yourself so you can talk to me. Oh, earphone problems? It might be you haven't unmuted yourself. I can't unmute you. If you click, if you scroll over you and you click on the little arrow in the box, you can see where you can quick adjust some of your settings like mute and unmute. If you haven't tried that yet, I don't know. Anyway, Mustafa, on to temp. Who is a temp?
A temp is a person employed to work for a short period while another person is absent or when there is extra work.
Indeed. Do you know what temp is short for or the abbreviation for?
Temporary.
Yeah, sure. Or temporary worker, temporary employee. Yeah, that's right. Some people work for a temp agency. So the agency assigns them maybe to a different office, one office for 1 week and a different office for a month, a new office for 6 months. It varies. Okay, temp workers. These are ordinary in big cities, of course, not, it doesn't make sense in the countryside. Okay, Ken is also with us. Hey, Ken.
Yes, hello. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Thanks. Welcome to the class. Just in time. What's a white-collar worker?
White-collar worker is the office worker.
There you go, wherever it is. Somewhere here. B. Yeah, B.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Person who works in an office, doing work that needs mental rather than physical effort. Again, sometimes it's a little bit confusing who's a blue-collar worker and who's a white-collar worker because there's jobs that require both skill sets.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't know. Okay. Now, all those terminologies we just looked at basically are terminologies that describe different types of position in today's business world, today's economy. Let's, our focus is actually on future and future workers. Let's talk about, very curious to hear you guys express your opinions about young workers, young people, up and coming, their attitudes, what they think, what they believe, how they will act. Okay, so let's try this little exercise, little discussion, little opinion. I really am curious to hear your responses. What do you guys think of young people? Sometimes I feel old. I'm another generation older, so I think most of you guys are a bit younger than me. So, young people joining the workforce now, all right, just getting out of school. Do you agree, disagree? Saiban, they're likely to take a short-term view of work. Okay, first of all, what does that mean? I think what we're... Do you know what that means? It's hard for me to understand.
Okay. Sure. So they don't want to have, the deep, deep information, or they don't want to have the all information about the work. So all they want to do just to have really light information. I mean, they say in other term, in other word, they don't. They just want to have a summary or something about the the work.
So maybe just tell me what to do. Don't tell me why. I don't need to know why I'm doing the job. Just tell me what I need to do.
Yeah. Okay. So just yeah. Yes, teacher.
Maybe. It could, I'm not even sure how to interpret this myself. It could mean that they're not looking for a lifetime career. So,
Okay, yeah, they want to switch it.
yeah, they see themselves changing jobs in their course of their work life. Okay, so it could mean both or either of those things. So let's talk about both or either of those things. Saiban,
Okay.
do you think young people don't care why they're doing a piece of work, a particular
Okay.
task?
Should I talk?
Interesting.
Should
Yeah.
Okay. Should I talk about the worker here in Iraq, my city, or
Yeah.
work in United States? Okay, from
Sure.
Iraq.
Talk about what you know. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Unfortunately, talking about the changing the work here in Iraq, here to be more specific, in my city, the north part of Iraq. I don't know exactly what is the rest about the rest part of Iraq, but here in my city, majority of the worker, they are I mean, they don't have a chance to work because, as I just mentioned before, some mafia, they here, because we are under the mafia rule, so they take the whole chance of work. So they don't let anybody to work in the private sector. They wanted to, I mean, draw people. I mean, let's say, in their way, they wanted to force people to have a long-term job in the government. I mean, in the public sector. So they don't have a chance. They don't let the company work here. They will just there's many company from German, other country. They come to my city, and they talk to the powerful people here, or let's say the mafia in other words. They told them, we want to work. They just make them. They say, okay, you can work, but we have to join the profit with you. So this is very ridiculous for the company. I mean, they don't want to share the profit with them, and just because they are gonna work here. I mean, even sometimes they ask 50% of the profit, and this is
Okay.
unbelievable. Yeah. So
If I could stop, I'm not sure if I understand what you're saying. So are you saying that a worker has to pay 50% of his salary to someone?
No.
Okay.
I say the worker here, either the younger, especially younger worker, should work in. There's no chance for him to work in the private sector, because the private sector, they don't have retirement system. So if you work for the private sector, you should, I mean, anytime the business owner can kick you out from his business without giving you anything. But if you work in the government, the public sector, you have to keep your job. You cannot change it. I mean, just few days, you cannot switch it. It's very hard. Yeah.
All right. I see what you're saying. So the private sector has no job security because there are no laws in place to secure job security. There are no contract laws, employer contract laws. It's wild, wild west, so to speak. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, so I guess you didn't say it, but tying this back into the original question, I would assume from what you said that people would take an extremely short-term view of work because they feel they have no job security unless they work for the government, and then they have total. So it's 0 or 100, white or black, nothing in the middle. Okay. Well, that's frightening, to be blunt. Okay. Simon, a little other regarding English. In other words, make sure this idiom has words with an S. In other words.
In other words. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Which is a good way to introduce clarified information. Okay. I don't really understand. I still don't understand your phrase. The companies won't join the profit. I don't really get what you're meant.
I don't
I
want.
still don't understand.
I don't want to waste time. Just
Oh,
one
okay.
explanation. And then I will shut my mouth off.
Okay.
Okay, just one. I just try to say, if you are a company and you have your business and you come to my city, if the mafia or the powerful people, they don't agree, if you don't share profit with them,
Ah.
you are not gonna license it. They are
Oh.
not gonna license you they are not gonna let you work in my city. So you have to share profit just because you are gonna work here. That's it, teacher.
Got it. Okay, so you have a ridiculous amount of graft. The government, whoever's in charge of the government, mafia, as you say, or whoever, needs a kickback, or there is no private business.
Yes.
No
Yes,
kickback,
exactly.
no business. Okay, well,
Yes.
that happens everywhere. That happens here as well. Okay, to some degree. Of course, it's stupid to be heavy-handed doing that. It's stupid for the mafia guys. It's kind of dumb because if there's no business, you're going to make no money. If you take too much money, they'll go out of business and there'll be no money. If you're going to offer protection money, protection racket, that's what that's called, by the way. Oh, we'll take care of you and we'll make sure nothing happens to you. And for that, you have to pay us. That's another way of talking about graft. You can't be too heavy-handed or they'll go out of business and there's no money for you. So bad business on their part. Okay, anyway, let's move on. Okay, food phone's gone missing. Sasha, do you think young people joining the workforce now are more entrepreneurial? What do you think? They are? They aren't? Or both?
Yeah, what is entrepreneurial?
Entrepreneurial. Okay.
Entrepreneurial.
Excellent question. Entrepreneurial. If entrepreneurial, you're okay. The quintessential, absolute entrepreneur that I can think of is Steve Jobs. He started his own company in a garage, in his parents' garage. They made up stuff that had never been done before. They were innovative. They had to take huge financial risks, and they tried to do their own thing, thinking out of the box different than everyone else. Entrepreneurial, you start your own business or your own business model. I'm not Steve Jobs, but I have my own business model. I work with Verbling. I do some other things. I work for myself. It's entrepreneurial. I'm not just collecting a salary from someone. I figured out how to make a job. Okay? So there you go. Innovative and really taking risks are part of being an entrepreneur. So what do you think?
About young generation who are younger,
Yeah.
to be honest, I'm not sure, but I'm totally sure that the people now that, for instance, if they are 20, they are. I observe it that they are know more than I knew when I was 20.
Mm-hmm.
And any generation becomes smarter, younger and younger. Because of, I guess, technology, maybe.
Well, yeah, thank you for clarifying that a little bit. I don't think they're any smarter. I think in some ways they're dumber, but they sure know a lot more about technology. But, you know, Sasha, if I have to go live in the forest for a week, no problem. If I could start a fire without a match, no problem. I know how to do things, but caveman things, But of course, programming a computer, I'll be lost. So technologically, yes, absolutely, I agree, 100%. They know a lot more. Absolutely. Okay, so they're more knowledgeable about technology, but are they more entrepreneurial? Or do they just, the opposite of that would be that they just desire going to get a job in a company, having job security, just somebody tell me what to do and make sure I have security, would be the opposite of being entrepreneurial, security-minded.
Mm. And I don't think because they also I guess lazy
Okay.
younger people because it's much easier to live now than it was, for instance, maybe 15 years. I can say it about my country, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Many opportunities, though, and people are pretty lazy usually.
Okay. Yeah, entrepreneurs can't be lazy. Steve Jobs was a
Okay.
lot of things. He was a jerk, but he wasn't lazy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Mustafa, number 3. Okay, the opposite side of the coin. So really you're talking about the same thing. Not so worried about job security. So very much has to do with being an entrepreneur or not. So Mustafa, do you think young people are more worried about job security or less than generations before?
Less.
Less. Okay. And
Yeah.
why?
Um, maybe they have a lot of like energy because they just started their career and they want to go and take the first step no matter what the risk. So they don't care a lot about the risk, as we say. Maybe they have a short-term view of work, so they don't pay a lot of attention to something, to maybe job regulations or something like this. Maybe this is maybe would make them in this category.
Okay. And yeah, all of these statements are definitely interrelated, I would say. Okay. Because they're young. Young people take more risks, basically. That's actually a very, very good reason. It makes perfect sense to me. Okay. All right. Ale, can you talk now? I know you have headset problems, but is it possible or not? Just want to give you a chance. If it's at all possible, I want to give you your opportunity to say your piece. Okay. All right. Sorry to hear that. I'd be very interested in talking to you. It's okay. Ken, all right, so let me swing it over to you. Okay, let's see. Do you think young people joining the workplace find it easy to start their own businesses or fund their own business ventures? Woohoo!
I think it's not easy always, but nowadays, crowdfunding or other methods of funding appeared, and so easier than ever, but still to find a fund or sponsor is very difficult, I guess.
Yeah, crowdfunding. I want to try it just as an experiment. Can I try it and then give everybody their money back? Can I come up with some ridiculously stupid idea just to see if everybody jumps on board? Are you allowed to do that? Do you know, Ken?
Me?
No, me. I mean, or anybody. Are you allowed to attempt crowdfunding for some ridiculous concept and then say, oh, you know what? Just kidding. You can all have your money back and not really take anybody's money. Would that be legal? I know this is a weird question. I know I should ask a lawyer if I'm really serious about that. I realize. I'm just curious. I like to try social experiments. with live subjects. I can't help myself.
Teacher,
Yeah.
teacher.
Yeah.
Sorry,
What?
can you explain crowdfunding? I don't understand it.
Sure. Well, no. Let's have Ken brought it up. Ken, can you explain crowdfunding to Mustafa?
Crowdfunding means, someone, usually someone establishes a website for that, and I need money or fund to start this business. They show the business model on the site, or not only the business model, some activities. They collect money from such people all over the world to agree
Right.
with that idea.
Kickstarter. Thank you, Sasha. To be specific, I believe Kickstarter is a crowdfunding website. They will help you do crowdfunding. Is that correct, Sasha? I've heard of them before.
Yeah, yes, it's one of the most famous.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I've got to try it. Okay. Okay. Thanks, guys. All right. Okay. Overall, these types of things. All right. Okay, they're all kind of related. Overall, I'm curious. Well, we'll go to overall in a little bit. All right. I'm gonna look at some different styles of working which are just starting now and which may continue in the future. But before we end, I'd like to hear your kind of overall opinions where today's young workers are heading. What's going to be typical maybe in 20 years or something like that. Okay, but I think it might be useful to first look at these sort of emerging styles of working, or maybe not emerging, maybe they're old, but they're becoming more common. So let's do another quick, before we go back to opinion, another quick vocabulary exercise here. Okay, same thing, definitions with these phrases and words. As in the example, flexible working, flexi work. We shorten that, again, another abbreviation. We often call it flexi work. I have flexi hours. You could hear it that way too. Working without strict times for starting and finishing. If you have flexi hours, for example, your company, there's lots of different ways to do it, but just an example, maybe your company requires you to do 30 hours of work a week, but they don't really care if you work 15 hours 2 days, or you spread your 30 hours over 5 days, 6 hours a day, whatever you want to do, for example. That's flexi hours. Okay. Let's, Saiban, moving on. Part-time work is, of course,
It's A. Doing part of job with someone else so that each person work part-time.
no.
No, it's not.
No,
Okay.
it's
Okay,
not.
so it's part-time, so okay, let me think about other option. Okay. Um, okay, I think probably will be D, working for a short time, especially in an office, or not.
No,
It's also no. Okay.
no.
Doing particular piece of work, so it's B.
No.
Oh gosh.
Oh gosh. You have two choices. Okay. Part-time is opposed to. Okay, so what is the opposite, Saiban? Would be what?
Full-time job.
Full-time. Full-time job. Full-time work. Full-time
Yes.
job. How many hours do you work in a full-time job in your country? What is considered full-time?
8 hours. 8 hours for 5 days.
40 hours a week, 8 hours, 5. Okay, that's exactly the same as the United States. All
Okay,
right.
so yes,
So,
okay.
if you work only 20 hours a week, all right, you're part-time. right? So
Yeah, okay, so it's E.
it's he working for only some of the day or some of the week. That's right. It's part-time work. This
So,
I just in the United States, I just want to share with you, part-time work was something high school kids or maybe university students did 25 years ago. Now it's something many working adults work a full-time job and then another part-time job. And many people have maybe 2 part-time jobs. This is actually better for the companies because the company don't have to give you full benefits if you're only a part-time employee. A case and example of this, huge company, lots of employees, Walmart. Walmart, at least in the United States, I don't know about overseas, but in the United States, a huge portion of their employees are all part-time. Why? So they don't have to give them any benefits at all. So they're cheaper. So the benefit is more for the company than the worker, but lots of people need a little extra money, so they get plenty of people to do it. Okay, moving on. Sasha.
Home working / teleworking. Working at home while communicating with your office by telephone, fax, or computer.
Yeah, okay. What crazy kind of person would do that? Oh, me. That's right. Okay, yes, it's what I'm doing working with you guys right now. Right. Home working, teleworking. I remember in the 90s, 20 years ago maybe, there were all kinds of articles. Everyone's going to be doing this in 20 years. 50% of all employees will be teleworkers. I remember those predictions. Didn't really turn out to be true. There's more than there was, but I don't think there's 50%. Anyway, okay, moving on. Another term, Mustafa. What is job sharing?
Okay, teacher. Just I have a question about the part-time job.
Sure. Go ahead.
So part-time job is like rotation job. Can I say that?
No. What do you mean by rotation job?
Like working maybe for 2 weeks and stay in your home for 2 weeks.
No. That's what I thought you meant, and that's what I would mean by the same phrase, rotation work. IBM was famous for starting this way back when. IBM workers work for 12-hour shifts. So they work 1 week, they work 4 12-hour shifts, 48 hours. The next week they work 3 12-hour shifts, or 36 hours. It comes out to 40 hours a week. But because of the way they can separate it, you have 3 or 4 days off in a row, or you can end up back-to-back your 3 and 4 day sections. You can work 7 days in a row and have 7 days off. So that's rotational work. But these, as I explained, they still work full-time. They end up averaging 40 hours a week.
So what's the difference between part-time job and full-time job?
Full-time job, you do 40 hours a week, or you average 40 hours a week. Part-time work is, I think, usually defined as 30 hours or less a week, officially. You just consistently work 20 hours. It's very common, as I said, to have a 40-hour-a-week job in the United States, but work in a store, in a retail shop for 20 hours a week. You get done your job at 5, you have dinner, and you work in the mall from 7 till 10 at night, 5 days a week. So you're working 15 hours. Okay, for extra money. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay, so job sharing.
I guess it is someone else. A.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So speaking of part-time, this is basically what Walmart does. They job share. So they need a clerk in the store. They have a clerk work. They have shifts, 4 hours, 4 hours, 4 hours. Your shift is 4 hours. You go home. Somebody else does your job the next 4 hours, like that. So it goes hand in hand with part-time work. Okay, we've already looked at this next one. Ken, the next two actually.
Freelance. It's a freelance worker. Work only for. They don't belong to the company. So.
Yeah. Or they do and they don't. Sometimes they have a contract with a specific company.
Yes.
Right.
Where?
Where?
B.
Yeah.
Doing particular pieces of work for different organizations rather than working all the time for a single organization.
Right. I think you were late, so I let you do that one. And last, temping. Temping. If you're temping, that's a style of work. You're a temp. The person is a temp, and they temp, verb. You are temping. Okay, you're working for short periods, especially in an office, while another person is absent when there's extra work. Temping has like literally no benefits whatsoever, obviously. So most people who are temping temporarily. They don't want to do it because they can't get any benefits. Also, they have zero job security. They can work for 2 weeks and then have no work for 2 weeks and then work for 6 months because somebody's having a baby, for example, and then have no work for 2 months. So it's a very insecure type of job. Okay, we only got a few minutes. What is the future? What will future workers be doing? Will they be working at home, job sharing? What, if anything, can you imagine might change in the workforce in the future? What do you think the trends may be? Saiban? Do you have any brilliant ideas?
Okay. I have a, okay. It's so hard to imagine here because it's an unstable market. So I mean, sometime I mean, I just mentioned it as I just mentioned that people are really restricted with some role that the government identified or selected for them. So I would say for a future here in my city, people will not. I mean, will want more and more working in the guarantee uh, sector. I mean, the government sector. So there's more and more. I mean. More and more demand by people, by folks to work in the government sector here. So I would say people will not change. I don't know about the United States. Maybe they might, I mean, have, I mean, a different kind of, I mean, different way of working. They might have, I mean, their office in their home, like just my father's friend. He's working like selling and buying house in his city in United States, and he has his own office in his house, so he's not going to any he's just contact with his customer by by a cell phone, so just connecting them. That's it. I mean, so maybe people were more comfortable with their own job. So I don't know actually. I'm sorry for not giving any brilliant.
It's a future imaginary hypothetical question. There's absolutely no wrong answer. Okay, let me ask Sasha the same question. Keep in mind other factors. like automation, maybe the change in energy, energy demand, energy consumption, energy production. Lots of things are going to be changing. Weather patterns? Who knows? Sasha, any brilliant ideas what might change about the workplace or workers? Either or both?
I think
In the
it
future?
will change significant because of many people lose their job, but on other side, many people as well will find the job. But the percent of the ones who lose, I think, will be bigger.
Scary.
It's a taxi. Yeah, it's pretty scary. It's a taxi. It's fabric workers. On fabric, I guess it's people will be amount approximately, I guess, 5% maximum, in my opinion. 95% of all work will be doing automatic cyborgs.
Okay, automated. All right.
Automated. Sure.
All right. It will change significant. Should be. It will change significantly because that's acting on the verb change. How will it change? Significantly. Okay. And the production will be automated. Yeah, scary. There's no wrong answer. Maybe we'll all be serfs, like back in the Middle Ages. I'll be out toiling in the fields while our overlord looks over us from a flying hovercraft. Work harder, slaves. There's no wrong answers. I don't know. Mustafa, do you have any brilliant ideas what you think the workforce will look like, or workers, in the future?
I'm not sure, but what we are doing today, maybe we'll build the leaders for the future. So yeah, I think with all the revolution of the industry and the work, we will have like a new generation in the future.
What do you mean we'll build the leaders of the future? Like genetically? Genetically modified leaders.
Because maybe we are facing a lot of revolution nowadays, so maybe it would look like it's different in the future.
Okay. All right. Frightening. Well, that's lots of revolutions is just frightening. I don't know what to say about that. Ken, can you add your 2 cents?
Yeah, a lot of people now have to work as a temp. So a temp agency, introduced them to the company, so their position is very unstable. So some people say if Japan use a working share system more effectively, we can solve that problem. I think, yeah, it will happen in the future in Japan too.
Okay, change the working shift.
Working share, because
working share, like job share. You mean?
Yeah, and less regular worker in the company. That means regular workers' responsibility is gonna be bigger than ever. So they have to work longer hour. But if they share the work, that problem also will be solved, and temp problem will be solved too.
Interesting. Okay, rethinking work hours. Well, yeah, that's definitely a possibility. I think, yeah, there's lots of ways that could go. Okay, who knows? We may all be wrong. Maybe in 50 years we'll be Planet of the Apes, and us humans will be running through the cornfield trying not to get caught by giant monkeys who are more intelligent than we are. I don't know. I don't know either, but anyway, thank you for joining the class, and we'll see you again next time. Mustafa, good luck with your electricity. Bye, guys.
Thank you.